Hello and welcome to the lounge, everybody. My name is Alieshia. I'm the host of Alicia's Lounge, and I am honored to have Joi McAtee with me tonight so we can learn a little bit more about her and she can share what her plans are when she gets elected. Okay. So if you all have any questions, make sure they're in the chat. And then we can ask them if you have any. And shout out to Gretchen. She was the first one in here. And we are ready to hear from Joi. So I'm going to read her bio and then we're going to get straight into it. Okay. So Joi is a proud graduate of Central High School. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Kentucky and a master's in higher administration from the University of Louisville. She's currently in her master's program in public administration and PhD in urban studies and public affairs. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing all that, but shout out to you. Yes, girl. She is the state representative for District 43. She previously served as executive director of equity for Louisville Metro government, along with prior time spent with Kentuckiana Works, Spalding University, and JCPS. My girl is busy, okay? She's out here. She serves on boards, including Mary Hurst and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Kentuckiana, and is a trustee for Initiatives of Change United Kingdom. She volunteers a lot. She's a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, League of Women Voters, and the NAACP. She also formerly served on Louisville Metro Commission for Persons with Disabilities, Juneteenth Jubilee Commission, and the Kentucky Derby Festival Block Party Committee. And she has a daughter, Elizabeth, her whole world. And if y'all did not know her before this, well, y'all gonna get to know her now. My girl has a great resume. Okay, so let's get into it. And let's just talk to her and kind of just see how your journey has been in politics. I forgot to start this off with saying Happy Women History Month. This is this is dedicated to women's history, but also I wanted to focus on women in politics because I feel like there's a lot of us. We always don't get the shine, and I felt like this was a great month. Everybody's running, everybody's doing all these different things. So I was like, why not highlight women in politics? So I want to say thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come in the lounge.
Well, I'm excited to be here in the lounge. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to the conversation. And yeah, I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, so we are going to get right into it. For the people who do not know you, of course, people in Louisville and Kentucky know you, but just in general, people who may this is their first time hearing about you, let them know just like a little bit about yourself and kind of like what got you into politics.
Yes, a great question. So a little bit about me. I am born and raised here in Louisville, grew up in Okolona, uh,
Okay.
come from a wonderful family. Parents who still to me have hung the moon, right? And I just think about everything that they have done and the type of demonstration of love that they've shown to me, not only me and my siblings, but they've also done foster care and adoption. And so they are committed to just really taking care of our kids. And so uh, grew up in Oklahoma, had a great experience, a great childhood, went to Central High School, Yellow Jacket Pride, Yellow Jackets for life.
Yeah.
Um,
Can
and
you
then,
tell
yeah,
them the importance about Central High School?
what's that?
Can you tell them the importance about Central High School?
Central High School single-handedly changed my life, right? When I think about the trajectory that I'm on and the things that I've been fortunate to do, it started at Central, this historically Black school that was just been committed to excellence since the beginning. And I think about, I was actually over at Central the other day for something and just took a moment to stop by and to look at the Wall of Fame and
Mhm.
looking at some of the names on that list and the leaders that have come from those halls. Like I know Muhammad Ali is always number one top tier. We always think about the greatest when we think about Central, but there are so
Mhm.
many other folks that came from Central High School. I mean, I think about Daryl T. Owens. I think about Jessica Green. I think about Maddie Jones. You know, like all these folks who attended Central High School, and to go through and have that experience, they just create, there's something about the leaders that they are able to
Mhm.
cultivate, and who come through those hallowed walls. So I'm excited to be an alum.
Yes, I love that. Yes, I wanted everybody to know that Central was like the first Black high school, because I feel like a lot of people might not know that. You hear Kentucky and you're like, oh, okay, people, the South, the Midwest. So it's just great to kind of know about that part. So kind of what led you into getting into politics?
Um, when I think about just the experiences that shaped my life, a lot of it, it does start
Mhm.
in high school. Like I remember saying to myself that I wanted to spend my life working on something that I couldn't solve completely in my lifetime, because it would just give me this constant desire to be
Oh.
working towards something, working towards better and greater. And I knew that I wanted to do something significant in the city and to have a positive impact on the place that I love so much. And so, I grew up on one end of town, went to school in another. And so, especially by the time I started driving, like I had the chance to see the strengths of our neighborhoods, but then also the gaps. And so I started asking questions like, well, why are there more things for me and my friends to do out here? Why there's so many
Mhm.
grocery stores, or why
Mhm.
does the housing stock look different? And
Mhm.
it's those questions there that really um, planted that seed. And today I get to walk in that, I get to not only answer some of those questions, but I get to provide solutions
Mhm.
to improve our entire community.
Yeah, because when you said you grew up in Oklahoma and you're like you went to Central, I was like, oh snaps, those are on different, you
Yeah.
know, different levels a little bit. Like for people who may not know, kind of if they're not from here, it's on like different sides of towns, and basically you have to get bused from Oklahoma to like, I don't know, downtown. I don't know necessarily how much it is, but you have to get bus out there, and sadly with everything now, that has kind of changed and people don't have those opportunities. But I think that is very important that when people think about the local politics, people don't really even think about that money, those taxes is going into those communities, that part, and that affects, what you have in your communities, or where you live. Like you talk about the grocery stores and stuff like that. Like I don't think people really know and think about it that deep, of like where you live, your environment depends on your income,
Yeah.
or opposite, or your
Yeah.
income depends on your environment.
Yeah, no, it totally does. And, so I'm working towards figuring out how do we, especially support working class folks? How do we increase wages? How do we expand opportunities for home ownership? And those things really
Mhm.
raise the tide of all people. So I'm excited to do that in Frankfurt.
Yes, I love that. Speaking of that, this is Women History Month. Do you have anybody, like, do you have a shero in politics? They could be past, like they could pass or present.
Oh man, I do have a number of people that I admire, and just for the sake of not wanting to let any folks down, in case I forget to mention them, uh, but I would say overall, obviously Georgia Davis Powers, Main Street Kid,
Mhm.
Wanda Mitchell Smith, and there are just so many other leaders in this community who have just really, through blood, sweat, and tears, have really paved the way, and I'm excited to stand on their shoulders. But overall, the community, it's the people, it's those real warriors who came before me, who had a code, who had values and a commitment to the greater good that unfortunately doesn't exist as much today. And I refuse to let their work go in vain. And so, when I think about what me being in this position looks like, I think about the fact that I'm a young mother. I've got a Generation Alpha baby who was born during the pandemic, right? And
Oh, okay.
yeah, and also during uh, the uprisings and protests for
Mhm,
the killing
mhm,
of Breonna Taylor, and
mhm.
all the things that went into play during that year, right? Um, and I think about her, and I think about the kids her age who deserve to live in a place where they can do anything that they want to do, that it
Yeah.
can be realized, that they don't have to hit this ceiling that so many folks who look like you and I know or
Mhm.
have experienced. I don't want them to feel like they have to leave to get a fair shake.
Yes, definitely, I agree. Okay, so with your you have a lot of experience as we, read your bio. Um how do you think that experience has prepared you for state representative?
I mean, yeah, I've been fortunate to work in education and workforce development, nonprofits, and local government. As you mentioned, most recently as the executive director of the Office of Equity for Metro Government.
Mhm.
And I had to take big ideas and to translate them into policy and to implement legislation. And when I think about the concrete ways that that was done, specifically in government, um,
Mhm.
I was adamant about making sure that we increase the number of Black and minority vendors. And because Metro government has funds to spend across different departments, and those are opportunities that we can use to support Black, women, minority, veteran, LGBTQ owned businesses. And and I think about how that experience led me to ideas like a District 43 business stabilization program, right, where we are supporting our local owned businesses with the resources that they need to stay open and to grow. But then also, how do we get that to translate into creating a more robust and inclusive downtown, right?
Mhm.
Um, there are folks who I've been fortunate to meet who have so much talent and so much to offer this city and this Commonwealth. I think about, well, what if we were able to get them into storefronts downtown with reduced rents? How does
Mhm.
it then start to reshape what downtown looks and
Mhm.
feels, right? As we are, wanting to continue to support the economic engine of this state, Louisville is. And so making sure that there are concrete plans and efforts in that vein to make sure that we're doing that. But then also with the financial resources and things that I was able to give back to community and supporting nonprofits who then went and did great work in communities across the city. I'm the only candidate that has real experience in government. So,
Right.
um, I'm looking forward to taking that experience and moving it up to the state level.
Yes, I love that. You kind of led to my next question because I was going to say, what is a state representative? What does that entail?
So a state representative is charged with making the laws of our Commonwealth. Um,
Mhm.
Also with building out our budget. This is a budget session, and so we have a budget on every 2 years. General Assembly comes back and meets for a longer session,
Mhm.
and so we'll run through April. And at that point, we're charged with figuring out what are our priorities for our state. What are we going to fund? And at the top of the list for many folks, it's things like healthcare and education and there's so many needs that we have within our state. And so those are the primary functions of a legislator. But then also, I see my role as making sure that I'm having a hand in supporting constituents in the district, right? Um, Working with the executive branch and the cabinets and making sure that the programs there are functioning
Mhm.
effectively in the way that's needed to support Kentuckians all across this state. And then more than that, I want to make sure that I'm closing that gap between what people think their state representative is and how they show up. Because, I mean,
Mhm.
perhaps you would be surprised at the number of folks that have had the pleasure of meeting who aren't totally aware of what a state representative does.
Oh
And
no,
so
that's me.
no, that's okay, and it's great because it opens up those opportunities for conversation and education,
Mhm.
but then also activation, so then I can say, "Hey, like, this is, um, what I would like to do, I would love for you to be involved," and inviting people to be in that process of democracy. And so,
Mhm.
um, I'm the legislative district chair for District 43, and so, I'm having the opportunity right now to go out and to reach and recruit folks to become precinct captains who essentially can become the people that we're also using to communicate with other residents within the district about what's going on with the local party, but also what bills are coming through. How can we get activated around certain issues and to show up and to push our elected officials to act in the ways that best suit the people.
That is really good, and that just had me thinking. I'm like, this could be a whole class because, granted, I really didn't know, and I knew other people didn't know. That's why I asked the question. But I'm like, there's like layers to this. Like, of course, mayors, well, of course, like presidents, stuff like that. I can't think of the other word. Or people like the chairs, like people who sit on the chair of the
We have
district.
Metro Council
Yeah,
members.
members. Yeah, I was on Metro Council members. Yeah, so I'm like, you have all these different things, but people really don't even know how to even get involved, or even know what it's like. Vote for this person, vote for that, and it's just like it's so overwhelming. And then there's district, there's all this different things that people don't know, and I'm like, this should literally be a class like in school. Although it's not, it should be like a subject in school. Like you
Yeah,
hear about it, but like the three branches of government. But I'm like, even this right here, like with educating people, like I feel like this is kind of what's missing, so people can know what all goes into effect, what they're voting for, what's this, what's that. I feel like there's kind of a lack of that happening, and not like just in Kentucky. I'm just saying in general about politics, or like the lack of what the knowledge of it.
no, you're totally right. I mean, we're not teaching civics anymore in schools in the way that, maybe our parents or grandparents received it. And so that's even something that I want to do and am already doing in so many ways. But how are we, really streamlining that education and making it convenient for folks to access, right?
Mhm.
And so many things have been able to happen to our community just from the lack of knowledge. And so I want to host those town halls. I want to have those advisory committees for folks to make sure that they are engaged and aware and part of the planning of the legislation that I would love to be able to introduce in Frankfurt.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, because I did not take a civics class. I don't think I took a civics class, or if I did, it was just like one. So I feel like there's a lot of people, that feel that same way too. So, you talked about like your experience that you had. I want to know kind of like what challenges have you might have faced, that can give you like a different perspective of you're like able to get into the role.
Yeah. I've had to navigate systems that weren't designed with communities like ours at the center, right?
Mhm.
And that involved, learning how to not just push for change, but how do we make it stick once, you're inside the room? It becomes a totally different ball game. I have been fortunate to have the experience of working under two mayors
Okay.
who are very different in certain ways. And, you know, in one aspect, I was able to get a lot of things done, but, then Trump 2.0 came back and,
Mm,
now the political winds are shifting. And it's like, okay, but you still got to move forward. You still got to push forward, even when you're getting pushed back on things that community has asked for and deserves. And, it's taught me both about what's possible and where the limits are. And I've seen how progress gets slowed, not because we lack the solutions, but because there is this lack of courage to fully act, I guess, um, on those solutions in a city like Louisville.
mhm,
And we should be celebrating and lifting up diversity as our strength. It's not something that we always lean into when it certainly has been an economic advantage for other cities and states.
mhm,
And I think once we're able to really start doing that and we're committed to investing in people, investing in inclusion and building um, economies that really reflect who we are, then we will start to actualize on a lot of that potential that we always talk about. But yeah, I'm grateful for that experience and seeing where those challenges are. I think being able to be behind those ivory walls and in those rooms and spaces, I really got to see how the sausage is made. And
Mhm.
being able to take that and to understand how I had to leverage relationships to still get things done. And I
Mhm.
had to deal with the consequences when I pushed back and things didn't want certain things.
Mhm.
But I am totally okay with what happened. I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And I think we sit at a crucial point in history right now where it does beg the question, are you prepared to die for it? Are you prepared to give up everything for it? Right? Um, like we mentioned earlier, I'm a single mother with a young child.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot easier to just go along to get along. But you know what happens when you don't? Okay. Right. But I'm so grateful now to be in a position to actually help to write and push the policies that actually work for everyday people in this community.
Yes, I love that. Speaking of that, because it is Women History Month, how do you feel about everything? Not that everything that's happening, but everything that is kind of told of like, women are inadequate, and I'm putting like quotations because we're not, but it's like people are saying like women are inadequate, or black women can't do this, or like when it comes to politics around the country, like how does that make you feel as a person who was running in it, being a black woman in politics? How does like that rhetoric make you feel? Or I guess how do you feel like you want to change that for people?
I mean, it naturally, and I think most Black women do this, right? Like we see a challenge and we're like, okay, bring it. Like it makes me want to work harder.
Mhm,
But it also makes me want to um, be sure that I'm also bringing somebody else with me, that I'm also sharing the game, sharing the information that I've learned so that it's not just me, right?
mhm,
That there is that we're building a deep bench of other young Black sisters who are ready to come up and to step into these leadership roles and to understand the landscape and to navigate it successfully. I mean, we've certainly seen gains in other places like Maryland and Illinois, and of course, we want that here in Kentucky. And so it's about building out that long-term strategy so that we get there, so that we can finally have a Black woman as mayor, or to
mhm,
win a statewide race, or to, one day represent us in Congress or the US Senate, right?
mhm,
Uh, and so I just take that as, okay, we're going to keep dialing into what we know and what we do best. That's building community, that's loving and supporting one another and making sure that we are working together, right? Beyond whatever differences that we know exist, because we're not a monolith, and really accepting what comes with that. Because we'll say that, but then then when we're faced with somebody who approaches the work differently, now it's
yeah.
get dicey, right?
Mhm, yeah.
But, as long as we're committed to the advancement of us, our people, and our community, we don't have to walk lockstep every bit of the way there. But what do we have in common? What
Mhm.
can we focus on? How can we collectively move our people forward? If we can do that, we can change the world.
I love that. That is so good. Um, so we're going to kind of dive into a little bit more questions, kind of about elections, or issues that you are passionate about
Mhm.
advocating for. What are some of those? And then what have been like the most, I guess, difficult decisions that you had in your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, the most pressing issues when I'm at the doors talking with people, it's always around Medicaid, healthcare, affordable housing, education. Those are the things that are constantly um, rising up in those discussions. But it's also the cost of living, right? And so I'm looking to address how we fight back against corporate greed, price gouging, predatory practices, and so those are the things that I'm most focused on. You know, succeeding and passing legislation to support people when I get to Frankfurt, but also living wages. That's a
Mhm.
huge deal. And so I'm looking to support some concrete efforts in that area. But um, What was the second part of that question? I was trying
Well,
to.
before the second part, can you start with apartment companies, please? Predatory.
Yes, yes, we absolutely need to
Very
strengthen renter
predatory.
protections and take on these landlords that are raising the rents on people. Um,
It's that, but it's also these companies that don't even they're not even here in
yes,
the city.
yes, and I absolutely want to work on banning those companies, one from coming in and buying up just swaths of land and property, and letting them sit dormant and vacant and not investing in them. But then also those out of town owners who are coming in and not attuned to the needs of the people in this community and exploiting us.
Yes, I'm like, this is so predatory. The whole apartment
Yeah,
hunting is so predatory and it's so exhausting. And it's even more predatory for single people as well. So
yeah,
I'm
and
right
definitely our
on.
seniors, also who are on fixed incomes.
Well, they get senior living apartments, but I don't know. That's what I hear.
It's not as prevalent and available and as quality as our seniors
Oh,
deserve.
uh,
And
I
so I want to make
understand.
sure, yes, I want to make sure that those options are there for our seniors because I believe that they should be able to age safely and in place and with dignity.
Mhm.
And for seniors who don't desire to move into senior living, who want to stay in the home that they worked their life to purchase and to take care of, I want to make sure that we have some homeowner protections and supports for those folks as well.
That's true because you get your house and you spend 30 years paying off of it, and then you end up with no retirement, then you can't afford it. Like, what is this? Then you gotta go pay someone else to go be in an apartment. But I'm gonna, keep it moving because that stuff really makes me mad. Then so the next question was, what have been the most difficult decisions or moments in your journey so far?
Oh, that's a big question. Uh, well, I'll just focus it on just kind of more recent, right? During
Mhm.
this process of campaigning. There's so many issues that are happening in our community and our across our country right now. And I know folks want certain things done immediately, right?
Mhm.
And government works a little bit different. And I know it would be easier in those moments where folks are really describing to me the enormity of the situation and the burden of what they're facing, and to just overpromise and to say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and that. Listen, I think it's literally one of the most disrespectful things anybody can do is to fix their feet, to walk to your door, knock on it, interrupt whatever you're doing inside your house, and to come
Mhm.
to you and to tell you that I'm going to do a whole bunch of things that literally cannot be done.
Mhm.
I think that is awful.
Ooh.
And it's also lies like that that have set our community back, right? It's taken advantage of the vulnerability of people in our situation, just for votes. And I refuse to do it. I really will never do that. And so when I'm talking to people, I'm focusing on things that I can pass, things that will actually make a difference in the lives of people. And then also, in our vision for joy and abundance and allowing people to be a part of this process, seeing also the impact that they can make, right? I think is crucial to making sure that folks, you know, see themselves as being part of the solution because so many folks are just tired of the same old status quo. We've heard everything before and we've seen nothing different. And I respect that. I get it. Right. And so it's up to people to be honest, to tell the truth about what we can do, but then also crafting that vision for a better future and laying out the steps on how we actually get there.
Yes, I love that. It's definitely difficult sometimes. Okay, so now we're going to get into when is voting? When is voting for um this time for the state representative?
Yeah. So coming up on May 19th is the primary election, and it
Yeah.
includes not just the state representative race, but also for the mayor's seat, For Metro Council, depending on the district you live in, not every Metro Council seat is on the ballot this cycle.
Mm.
So we will see the odd numbers on the ballot this cycle for Metro Council. And then we have, of course, for United States Senate will be on that ballot as well. But early voting begins May 14th and runs through May 16th. And historically, primary voting turnout is low, especially
Oh,
when it's in an off presidential year, which is the case this year. And so it's so important for folks to get out to vote, to make sure that they're registered to vote. The deadline to register to vote is April 20th at 4 p.m.
yes.
Please make sure that you have taken those steps. It's so quick, it's simple. You can do it online, and make sure that you are able to get your voice heard, and elect the officials that you believe would be the best to represent you and the things that matter most to you and your family. Um, but but the thing I was going to say about my race in particular, because it is such a heavily Democratic drawn district, there's no Republican challenger. And
Oh,
so my race, the primary race, is the race.
period. And when is that?
Period. And so it's important that people come out to vote in May.
Oh,
Don't think, okay, we're gonna sit around, she'll be all right, and we'll wait to November and cast the ballot when it matters. No, it matters right now. So please make a plan to vote, beginning May 14th,
hmm.
15th, or 16th, and then the actual primary election day is on May 19th.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to speak this into existence. So you voted for her and she won. All right. So when you're elected, what are the top three priorities you want to address?
Man, I mean, the top three things beyond finding the bathrooms and adjusting to the new layout in Frankfurt, because the Capitol is closed for renovation,
Oh,
right
okay.
now, and it will be for the next few years.
Oh,
My top three priorities are education, Medicaid, healthcare, and housing. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, ending those predatory practices that are so prolific throughout District 43. I want to make sure that we have a solid plan in place to help get money back into the hands of people in the district.
hmm.
We have been victims of corporate greed and price gouging. If you live in District 43, chances are you pay a lot higher rate in car insurance than other people in different parts of the city. And there's a reason for that, but it goes back to these predatory practices that are rooted in racism. And so I'm looking forward to taking on those insurance companies and, again, figuring out ways that we can absolutely get money back into the hands of people. But it's also things like automatic restoration of voting rights, especially for our nonviolent offenders. It's eliminating the pink tax. It's making sure that we're banning large investors from purchasing single family homes and just sitting on them, right? Like those things um, prohibit our access to being able to access or to get into home ownership.
Hmm.
And so those are things that I know I said way more than three. There's a lot of
Oh,
work to
no,
do,
I love it.
but those are the things that I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues in Frankfurt. Look, I'm claiming it already, but working hard. Got to keep working hard.
I forgot the third one you said, but housing and education, I'm with you. I forgot you said something in the middle. Oh, um, dang it. What did you say? I forgot already. My bad. You it was at the beginning. Housing, education.
Medicaid and healthcare.
Yes, Medicaid. That's what healthcare. I'm actually with you on all three of them, honestly. I just don't know too much about Medicaid. Um, and what? Okay, I don't want you to. You don't have to say like the cities because there's a lot of different towns. But what side of town? I guess is 40. There's the 43rd district in. If you don't want to say it, I can tell you later. But I was
No,
just
no, absolutely. No, actually, I'm so thankful that you brought that up, because I would have gotten off of this and been kicking myself that I didn't mention it. And so I break the district down by neighborhoods, and it's a lot easier for folks to then understand and visualize what that means. And
yeah,
so, because I've met so many people from Shively, let me tell you, if I was running in Shively, hey,
you'd already had it. Now I know where Shively's at.
no, but no, shout out to the Shapley. But so District 43 includes the neighborhoods of Shawnee, Market, Portland, Russell, downtown, Smoketown, Shelby Park, Germantown, Paristown,
Ooh.
Butchertown,
Oh my
Nulu,
gosh.
Phoenix Hill, Melwood Avenue, River Road, Zorn, Mockingbird Valley Road. So think
What?
about it. Yeah, so it essentially runs along the river. At one point, it jumps across Broadway, once you get down towards East Broadway, and then follows on back around. So
That's
it's a
so
large district,
big.
very diverse district, and I'm excited because, I've got relationships from the C-suite to Club Cedar, right? And I can move in between any of those spaces and still remain completely authentic to myself, my values, and what I want to do for folks in this district. So I'm excited about the opportunity to represent them.
Yes, that is a lot of neighborhoods. I do know most all of them, but I don't know if I know where all of them are at. I've heard
Well,
of
if
them.
you know anybody that lives in them, and for the folks who are watching, please tell them about me. Share this
Hey,
um,
yes.
love.
That's why I had to know. I had to know. I'm gonna be like, okay, do you live in District 43? Or do you know who is running for state representative? I got you. I'm gonna tell them. So my next question is, how do you plan to engage with your constituents and ensure their voices are heard?
Yeah. Really doing much of what I've been doing for, the last 10 to 12 years, except for maybe this time there's an additional title to it, but it's showing up in spaces where people are, meeting them where they are, explaining the bills and legislation, the implications of them in a way that folks understand, talking with people, not at people, not down or down to people. And then getting their perspective on what they think and what they want to see, right? I mean, um, I'm in and I'll look through 43, right? Like if it's Club Cedar or the Dirt Bowl, um, I I went out to the Elks to bring in my birthday. Remind me to tell you that story.
Okay.
Um, but like I am where people are. And
Mhm.
and I love folks. I love meeting these people. I love hearing their stories. I love hearing updates about their kids and, if somebody made the baseball team or if, that relationship that, mama didn't feel so good about ever if that situation got resolved. Like I'm invested in people.
Yeah.
And that's what folks deserve, as an elected official who is in charge of making some serious decisions on your behalf. And so that means having those town halls. It means having those feedback loops. It means having just different ways of communicating with people so they really understand what's going on and also their role in how we create and build a better Kentucky.
Mhm. I love that when you were talking about just being invested in people. I feel like we kinda got far away from that within the politics of just like, with capitalism money, but it's like being
Yeah,
invested in the people in your community, and then once once your community can thrive, your people thrive, then your city thrives, then your state, like, people
exactly.
figuring it out, and when you don't care and invest back into your community, well, you see what that gets us, so,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've spent millions of dollars and wasted so much time bringing in consultants and saying, well, this is what Louisville is and this is what they should be. No, like our best attribute, our bread and butter is our people. And
Mhm.
let's tell their stories. Let's figure out how to get resources in their hands to support their dreams, to support their businesses, investing in our kids. To me, that's the best way that we will get the city on track and make Kentucky a competitive location and a place where people want to be, but where people also want to stay.
Yes. Ooh, that's the key where people wanna stay. I love that. Um, Another question I have is what long-term impact do you hope to make if given the opportunity to serve?
Mm. I think about this in terms of just how people feel about themselves
Mhm.
and what they can do, right? There's a lot to get done in Frankfurt, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, and I'm excited for it. I'm up for it. I want that challenge. But I'm just one person, right?
Yeah.
So it's also about how can someone see me and understanding my journey and the things that I've gone through, because everything has not always been rosy or easy, right? Like, I may show up in spaces and people may have a certain perception of me because, I look a certain way or whatever, but like I've been through some things. And I
Mhm.
want folks, as they get to know me, to understand, well, she went through this and she did this and she was still able to. So not only that, she paved the way. Like she went up there and did what she needed to do and then made sure that all along the way, she was reaching back. All along the way, she made sure she brought people with her. All along the way, she's sharing knowledge. Um, so that people can really feel like, hey, I can do anything. And not only that, I'm going to pass her. I'm going to do even more. I'm going to do even better. Because that's the mindset we have to think. If we're going to really raise the standard of what good leadership is in the city and in this commonwealth, we have to have folks who are committed to the overall advancement of all people.
Yes, I love that. I do have one more question, and then we can wrap it up. But you were saying to not let you forget about the story. Was that supposed to be on air or off air?
We'll talk about that offline.
Off air. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Clear. Okay. So my last question, leaning into what you just said, um, this is Women History Month, so I'm gonna keep saying it. But as we end, what would you say to a young girl, maybe in high school or in middle school? What advice would you give them if they wanted to kind of like get into politics, kind of go into that route of like doing, I would say, I wouldn't say on like a higher level, but just like what advice would you give them, or like what would you want them to know about running and being in politics?
First of all, politics is already in everything that we do, see, feel,
Mhm.
experience. Um, and I'm trying to remember this quote because I really don't want to butcher it, but it was by Louis Brandeis, a former Supreme Court justice, the man
Period.
for whom U of L's law school is named for. And he said something to the effect of the most important office is that of a private citizen, something to that effect, but it was essentially saying that, you know, um, democracy and its power really lies within the people. And I would tell any young lady, um, any baby girl who is just trying to navigate the world in any space, right? Is one, I love you. I care about you. You matter. You're beautiful. You're bold. You're strong. You're intelligent. Can't nothing stop you. You the baddest in the room. The world is blessed for your being here.
Yes.
But also to don't ever shortchange your lived experience. Document those things. Document those stories because you can use that to create policy that can improve livelihoods. You can use it to create, medicine and drugs to cure diseases. Like I just feel like once you are confident in who you are and what you bring to the table, and that without you, this world wouldn't be the same. You can really do anything,
Mhm.
right? And then also getting you a good, strong group of women around you who are going to hold you accountable, who are going to love and support you no matter what, who aren't going to judge you. I'm grateful to have women like that in my life. I one thing that I go back to every now and then is, be who I needed at 8, be
Mhm.
who I needed when I was, 13, be who I needed when I was 24,
Mhm.
who I needed when I was 31, 34, right? Um, and as long as we are remembering how we've had to journey and traverse through life, there's something in our experience that can absolutely benefit the next generation coming up. We
Mhm.
just got to be willing to share it, and they want it, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, so, and I love being able to mentor
Mhm.
young ladies. I have mentors that I'm so grateful for. I do have so many people that I truly admire, would absolutely run through a wall for.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think continuing to have that support for the next generation of girls coming up, they can do anything.
I love that. I think mentoring is very important. It's sad that it's kind of not, I don't know if it's as prevalent as now as it was when I was younger, but I think mentorship is really something great that our young girls need to help with guidance and just kind of help to like navigate the world and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you said you have mentors and that you also mentor people. I did say that was my last question, but this is my really last question. Or it's not a really question, but like, do you hope, thinking of future, we already have you as a state representative. Okay, we already have it in the bag. We already put you right there, right? Do you have any I guess other offices that you're looking at? Like, are you looking to like be in DC? Like, I know you because you're already in Frankfurt with us. You already said you in Frankfurt. You walking, you stepping. Do you plan to go up to like Senate or like in upper DC? Or do you plan to go higher, or do you like working like within just local government, like within state?
I'm looking forward to being the best state representative that I can possibly be for the people of District 43 and being open to whatever God has for me. Um, I mean, nothing in my like. I have a friend of mine who's like, Joy, you've never failed. It seems like you've never. And I've absolutely like had difficulties and hard times in life, and like bumped my head and like
Mhm.
failed big time, right? But
Mhm.
I've never lost that trust in God and just in my capabilities and what I can do to pick myself back up. And so, you know, like I said, I'm excited about being, Lord willing, working
Yeah.
hard, people coming out to vote on May 19th, being the best state representative I can possibly be for District 43.
Yeah. So on that note, we'll just have to come back in a couple of years. We're going to have to come back on another time. But yes, oh my goodness, I do love that. And like you said, y'all do need to vote May 19th. If you are not, registered to vote, make sure you do because it is your civic duty to register. I mean, to vote. Be
Yeah.
registered so that you can vote. And yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed the conversation, getting to learn more about you, getting to learn about what you would like to do. Where can everyone follow you at to kind of, get to learn more about you and learn more about becoming a state representative?
Yeah. No, again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you this evening and to reach so many folks that you are able to have conversations with through your platform. And I don't take that lightly, so thank you. But folks who are interested in learning more about me and my campaign, you can visit joymcatee.com. You can also follow me on social media. I am on Facebook at Joi McAtee or Joy for Kentucky.
Hmm.
Also on Instagram as Joy for Kentucky and TikTok. I'm getting better at TikTok. I was so look, I'm I'm an older millennial, right? Well, no, I'm actually kind of in the middle. But I've always been last at wanting to like pick up on the next social media thing.
Hmm. I
And
think
boy,
I'm gonna have to TikTok.
y'all done drug me to TikTok, but I'm making it work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
able to engage with folks that I wouldn't be otherwise on, maybe some of the other platforms. So you can find me on Joy for Kentucky there as well. But half the city's got my phone number at this point. If you got it, hit me up. If you don't, you see me out, you know,
There we
hit
go.
let's talk about it.
I
But
love it.
I'm accessible. I'm here for you. I want to support you even before, getting into this role, right? Because I
Hmm.
care about you as a whole person, not just because I'm running for office. Like I really care about people in the city.
Yes, I love that, and I definitely love Joy for Kentucky. I was like, oh, it's a cute little it's like a hashtag. It's a cute hashtag, but it's like it's inner and hour, like Joy, like that's your name. Is also Joy for Kentucky, like have
Because
joy.
we deserve joy, right?
Yes,
We deserve to have joy and to live in joy and whatever that is for you, right?
yes.
And joy has always been a tool of resistance for our people in our community, even going back to the days of enslavement and getting through civil rights. And even now, it's so important that we find the thing that gives us joy.
Yes.
So,
Is that why your
I'm,
mama named you that?
what'd you say?
Is that why your mama named you that?
I mean, I think she knew what the Lord had in store. But
Oh,
it's funny because I wanted to change my name as a kid.
oh, you did.
I did. Because nobody could, it was something about the O and the I. It was,
Yes.
I don't
Mhm.
know what it was. People missed grammar that day, whatever lesson. It's like they just couldn't get it. Like they would say everything but joy.
Yeah.
But now I love it. I love my name.
Yeah, I do too. I know, and I only know a couple people named. Well, actually, I know like three people named Joy.
And I'm
Yeah.
meeting more people with it spelled with an I, which is
Hmm.
cool. I met
Yeah.
someone this past weekend whose
Hmm.
granddaughter got the same name spelled the
Dang.
same way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's becoming more common and different things like
Yeah.
that too. So yeah. Oh yeah, I also want to say that I am also a U of L alumni or
All
alum.
right, girl.
Go cards. Okay. Love that. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. If you are watching this, if y'all watching the replay, make sure y'all vote for Joy. If y'all know people in the district 43, make sure
Yes.
y'all know her name's on the ballot. Y'all share it.
On
Y'all,
the ballot first. It's at the
huh?
top. It said it's on.
In
So you'll
the
see
top.
races.
Okay.
I just quickly move on.
Yeah, okay. On the top, make sure you share with your friends, your family, and just make sure that you know, like, this is your voice. That's what I was gonna say. This is your voice. Use it. As someone else said, they wouldn't try to not have you vote if it did not matter.
Yeah.
So make sure you use your voice and make sure your voice is heard by going to those polls and vote for Joy. All right. I do have some more interviews coming up with other women in politics. So make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content. I definitely think politics and education are very important. And here
Mhm.
we are, we're living and we're learning and we're just navigating life. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more women in politics. And you are my first one. So thank you so much.
Hey, that's love. That's love. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And
Thank
y'all
you.
have a great night, morning, whenever you watch this replay. Comment, share, and vote. All right. Oh, I love that. Comment, share, vote.
I like
Awesome.
that. Comment, share, vote.
Yes. All right. Y'all have a great night. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.